Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening Network, expanding the consciousness of humanity every single day. And we have, as every single show, Casey is here with us. Hi, Casey, how are you?
I'm great. Hope everybody is doing well. Welcome into the time change, right? The time change. I always laugh and say, yeah, welcome into me not being able to know what time it is for the next couple of weeks, right? As the strange adjustment of why we do that in most of the states here in the US has taken place. So sending out hellos to everybody and hoping everybody's having an amazing beginning of this month. Officially, the holidays, are hitting us now at this point. I don't know about you, Angel, but I was talking to my crew, my team, and we were saying that it just seems like this year was sped up. I'll tell you, if they are manipulating time and they are manipulating timelines, it feels like this year got sped up as far as time goes. Don't know if any of the viewers or the listeners feel that way. I definitely feeling that way.
Yes, and as you know, well, time is an illusion. Julius tells us every week, right? Every time we talk about time. But still, we still have that perception, and that perception is something that comes with us, and it has its related emotions with it, and we live on our emotions all the time, as Julius always say. And we are here, obviously, to help everybody. We are really, really excited for the show number 126. It's easy to say. And as you were saying and reminding everybody, exactly, actually, the time has been changed here in the US, which means that all of us that work at some point, or we have some global team, that means that the time difference has probably changed. There's a lot of areas in the world that have not changed the time as we have here in the US. So just make sure that you reach out to these friends and colleagues of yours because the time difference has changed. But guess what? We always have incredible questions to ask and to be answered.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. As you see, there's a lot of people saying hello. We have people saying hello and excited to be here, and we are super excited to be here too. All right, so let's start with one early question from, by the way, I'm going to become myself small as I typically do. And in order not to, bother anybody and give all the attention to Casey and to Julius and their group of entities who are going to be answering all those questions. Let's go for the first question from, as I said before, Hilda. Here it is. What are the energetic and physical causes of autoimmune disorders?
Yeah. So, Master, autoimmune disorders are everything about your body eating itself. That's what it is, which is energetically and physically demonstrating the action of lack of self-love, right? Or self-judgment, right? Which would be you eating yourself, judging yourself, right? Not loving yourself. So that's the energy, behind that, okay? Autoimmune disorders on a very physical level are also all about your nervous system being hyper vigilant and in survival mode for extended periods of time, sometimes, kind of permanently, depending on your situation. It can come from abusive situations, in the household or in your work environment or in friendships and relationships and stuff. That is a literal slow erosion on your nervous system and on your immune system. But the energy behind it, Master, besides, what activates that as far as poisons and things of that nature, the energy behind it is self-judgment and lack of self-love. Now, the challenge with this is basically almost everybody suffers from that, right? Almost everybody suffers from that. Like, that's the biggest issue for humans, is lack of self-love and or self-judgment. And that's the process on a conscious journey, is to come back to focusing on loving yourself, no longer judging yourself, going to the highest aspect of knowing yourself as source, and therefore you're not judging thought. And so you can get on and on and on and on with this extensive practice. And why does it occur for some and not others? We will say that people who suffer from lack of self-love and a lot of self-judgment tend to attract abusive people in their life, emotionally abusive people. They're a magnet for those who are not going to treat you with honor and respect, because that energy is going to support your point of view, which is that you're not worthy of really amazing love. So when those couplings take place, your body will start eating itself. It will start eating itself. Now, what the medical industry has not disclosed for many, many people is a lot of the so-called chronic conditions or diseases are actually autoimmune diseases. They haven't categorized things really efficiently and sufficiently. For instance, diabetes is an autoimmune disorder. And that's just starting to kind of break through the disclosure and the airways on a lot of things. But we hope that answered your question thoroughly for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. What an answer. We are so used, don't you think, Casey? I mean, you are so used to these incredible answers from Julius and the group of entities, and we get like, oh, it's just a normal, but it's not like, it's not. And we are so excited about it. And we are so happy to be able to help, in this case, Hilda B, who's been with us for a long time. And actually, she's been signing up for a lot of different sessions we have had. So we couldn't be more happy that she keeps on showing here up, and we keep on answering questions for her. The next question comes from Ashley. What is the reason that I black out faint when someone wets their pants? That's interesting. It's been happening my whole life. I grew up with loving parents, and we can't remember any event that would cause this.
Well, it's more than likely, Master, a trauma response, okay? So something is triggering a trauma response with you. There's no question about that. Psychological disorders, disorders that where you have extreme reaction to what actually seemingly is perceived by most as a harmless thing, but it's obviously not harmless to you. Something subliminal, something buried is very traumatic for you. Very, very traumatic for you. We are not going to say what that is on this platform because your name is in the platform. We can tell you that something very traumatic happened to you as a child. It is sexual in orientation. Your response in the situation was wetting your pants. And then there was an additional negative traumatic action done to you because you wet your pants during the original violation. And we're just going to leave it there for you.
All right, fair enough. Thank you so much. Next question from Tommy. I understand 5D is not the fifth level of consciousness. What causes us to move into 5D? Could you talk about how we moved into 5D?
You don't, Master. You don't move into 5D, okay? You are simultaneously in all of existence. You don't move into another dimension from the third dimension. You don't. It is already there, and you are already there, okay? So we're going to tell you that we do not agree with the third dimension moving into the fifth dimension. The third dimension is always going to be here. As long as this Earthship realm exists, there is 11 dimensions available for experience here on this Earthship. That is the truth. We don't care whether you believe us or not. It is the truth, okay? And you are not separate and singular. We are all one. We exist simultaneously in the continuum of the moment of now, Okay. If you want to tap into your existence as a fifth dimensional being, go ahead and do that. But you're not three-dimensional in the 5D. You're ghost-like in the 5D. You're more etheric in the 5D because the dimensional space number has to do with particles of matter ratio to etheric. Okay. So first dimension, you're more solid. Third dimension, you're where you are now. Fifth dimension, you're more etheric. Okay. So we are going to support that interpretation is not accurate. When you raise your consciousness, your life as a third dimensional being is going to massively shift and improve over when you are in a low consciousness state as a third dimensional being. But we're going to tell you that never in all of existence has a dimension moved into another dimension. It all exists simultaneously. That's what we have to tell you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And all the audience is saying it. What an answer, excuse me. Absolutely incredible. Okay, let's go to the next question. Sodom03, nice to see you again. What's the best way to clear brain fog?
Well, you have brain fog, Master, because you have metal, plastic, and sugar in your brain. That is the truth. Okay. So you've got metal and plastic and sugar in your brain. Eliminate those three things and you'll clear your brain up. That's what we will tell you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The next question from the Flourishing Group. Can you shed some light on what raised moles or beauty marks are? I heard they can mean something from a past life. Grateful for you guys.
In some cases, that is a truth, Master. So sometimes they can be a wound or a scar in another timeline. We don't support that it's from necessarily another lifetime. It could be another timeline. And it can be a wound or a scar. There's been many reports in, hypnotherapy where somebody will have a birthmark on their shoulder and then down on their side, and then they'll go into a past life regression, or which is just hypnotherapy regression. And they tell a storyline of being impaled, in another lifetime in that same trajectory as to how those show up, or those purple birthmarks, that show up on people's faces that if they go into a regression therapy, they find out they were burned, in that type of a manner in a memory. We say that is all very, very true and very, very possible. We also can support that a lot of growths that come upward from the skin have a lot to do with toxicities and parasites. More things that are kind of flat would probably have more to do with concurrent lives or past lives or things of that nature. Absolutely can be true. Absolutely. It depends on the, how do we want to describe this? Okay. It has a lot to do with, so Masters, when you transition from physical life into energy life, you call it dying, living and dying. Okay. So when you die, if the death is tied to a massive upheaval of a traumatic or a massive upheaval of an emotion, you will continue on with that into your next experience. You will carry that forward. That has a lot to do with the Mars and the marks and the scars that make it carried over. So there probably was something very emotionally attached to the event. The event itself is probably traumatic, okay? Obviously some type of a massive wound, but there's probably another emotional issue that you set an intention to re-trigger in your next existence for you to finally deal with it or finally process through. We're going to say, for instance, one of those emotional components has a lot to do with two things, and that is revenge and regret. Revenge and regret. And you'll literally Set that up for you as a quote unquote reminder for yourself to finally work your way through that extraordinarily binding experience.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next question. Casey. Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I was wondering myself the same thing the last couple of shows. Casey, background is beautiful. What is the blue light in the background?
I'll show you. Hold on.
Thank you. Thank you. We just disrupted. Look at this. That's a very nice light. Thank you.
Here's what's really funny. I actually got them as plant lights. So you see my plants on the side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't, my plants weren't getting enough light. So they're actually plant uplights. That's what they are. But when they arrived, they come with all these cool color schemes to them, right? So I got like, you can make them all different colors, and they've turned out to be so fun. They look so great on camera. And so they've really been a whole lot of fun. It's a quick $20 thing. And I just laugh because the technology is so amazing, right? Some of the funnest things that aren't expensive can end up adding so much personality, to a situation. So as I change my colors, I can change the colors of my light, and it's no big mystery. Everybody go buy some uplights on Amazon, right?
Thank you so much. By the way, I think that the audience deserves to be reminded of the name of our cat.
Oh, this one is Newton. So this is my Newton.
Oh, Newton! Look at that.
Yeah. He's a Russian blue, and he's
Wow.
got a really short, fluffy tail. He's one of my boys. I've got 2 boys and a girl, and I am sitting in Newton's bed. So my meditation chair is Newton's bed at night. And now that it's dark, it's bedtime. So he's letting me know that as soon as the show's done, I'm out of my studio, and he's time for bed for him. So
it is so funny. Thank you so much for sharing. We really like to share all those small anecdotes and things that are happening here with us, with our family. Remember, this is the episode number 126 of the Ask Julius Show. What happens is this show is basically that you can ask any question to Julius and their group of entities, and guess what? Casey Spear is going to channel Julius and the group of entities, and is going to answer your question no matter what it is. Okay? And also, during the show, you have seen that on the top right corner, there's a QR code. Every week, we have a different QR code. If you take your cell phone, you point your camera to that QR code, you will be taken to a specific landing page on our website where you will be able to see what is the special of the week. What is the special of the week is a special session, workshop, program that our production team has especially designed for you, so that we can really have a direct impact into your life. And thank you so much for allowing us to do that. And we will continue now with more questions. All right.
One thing,
Yes.
Angel, I wanted
Go ahead.
So I wanted to let everybody know that my incredible team has put together a brand new website for us, channelingjulius.com. We want to invite everybody to hop over there, check it out, read all the about facts, and dive into some of the cool things that they put in. I literally got a message from Sue before we came on tonight. She's like, please invite the audience. They've worked so hard on this for me. I have the most amazing team. And this was basically my gift from my team. And they're the most amazing team. So everybody go over to channelingjulius.com, please, please, please. And they just went live yesterday. So have some fun and float around in there and tell us what you think. Tell us what you think.
Absolutely. Tell us what you think. Let's go to the next question. And by the way, obviously, we will show you the new website just in a few minutes. Now we are 21 minutes into the show. The next question comes from Cat55K. Dear Julius, my best friend has sarcoidosis. How did he get it, and how can he get cured? Thank you.
So it's a byproduct of medications and poisons, okay, as is most things, right? Uh, the vaccination that we're not allowed to say on this show, so we have to be really, really careful. Uh, when you have these done in your arm, there's a time period of 3 to 6 years that they have designed in your body for things to show up at different time periods afterwards, so that you won't associate with what has happened to you to that thing that you had done. Okay, so everybody knows that about SIDS, about babies now, right? Does everybody remember the SIDS phenomenon? Well, that was a vax injury. Okay, so almost every SIDS death took place within a 48-hour period after an infant was, had their inoculations. So they've ramped all of that up. And here's the other thing. They stack on each other, and they activate each other, and they activate each other. So everything that everybody had when they were an infant, through childhood, through adulthood, through any type of current state, stacks and activates, okay? And this is basically how all of these strange things come to play. That on top of all the metals, all the plastics, and all the inflammation that you have on your body really, really, really puts things in order. But the other thing that nobody wants to have a really deep conversation about, and everybody wants to take really lightly, like it's no big deal, are the parasites. Okay? They inject them into you. It's part of those things that they stick in you. Okay? And these things do so much damage to your body. And there's many things that you can do, but people just don't want to dive in that area. Mostly they don't want to believe that what we've just said is true. So they've got the cognitive dissonance. It's like, no. It's like, why? Why not try something that is so simple and cannot harm you in any way, shape, or form, cannot interfere with anything that you're doing, and that's detoxification. That's detoxification practices, okay? To get the parasites out of your body, to get the graphene oxide out of your body and out of your brain, to get all of these things out is so simple. And we're telling you that they will have a massive improvement on their health and well-being. And the number one aspect of poisoning to the body is sugar. And if you are not aware of the fact that they put sugar in almost everything and you wonder why, that's why. That's what we will tell you.
Absolutely. She says, thank you from both of us. You are very welcome. Thank you for allowing us to give you our, let's say, Julius and the group of entities 5 cents. All right, let's go to the next question. It's from Mentor Loca. Hi, Casey. Lately, I'm being pushed financially in many ways. I also can't be able to find a way out of the situation. Is there a license to be learned? Thank you.
Master, we want to tell you this. Yes, there are always wisdoms to be gained. So we want to say there are no lessons, there are wisdoms, okay? You are setting yourself forth into your experience to gain wisdom through the experience that leads you towards your empowerment and the knowing that you are source, okay? And everything in your life that is a representation of lack has an energetic representation of lack of love, honor, and respect for self. To a certain degree, we say that is a truth. But your financial system, Master, is also designed to catastrophize most of you, okay? All of your interest that you pay, all of your loans that you pay, all of the inflation that you pay is all designed to break almost everybody. Seriously, almost everybody. Okay. The elites that control everything keep you so preoccupied with financial stress that you won't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. That's the truth. That's not a conspiracy. That is the truth. You talk to any economist, you talk to any financial specialist, and they're going to tell you the system is so broken, Master. Okay. It's unlawful the amount of interest that they charge you on credit cards. It's unlawful and illegal what they charge you on mortgage rates. It's unlawful and illegal the way that they've done inflation compared to wages. So keep that in mind as far as holding yourself from judging yourself too harshly. We're going to tell you this is a global issue at this point. The systems are about to revalue. The systems are broken. Here in the US, back when you went off of the gold-backed currency, you devalued your dollar and you were never going to win. Never going to win. Okay? And they know that in a 50 to 60 year period, the financial system will break, and you're at about that stage right now. Now, the good news is it looks like there's a big push. That's what Trump has been doing with all of the leaders, global leaders around the world, is commodity-backed financial system, because everybody's system that's on a fiat dollar is breaking at this point. So with that in mind, that is a reboot that may free up and give everybody an aspect of energetic sovereignty to encourage them to be able to find more joy, more peace, more balance, and more equilibrium in their life without the detriment of that failed preoccupation. So you can focus on your enlightenment, focus on your self-love, focus on your well-being. So there's a lot going on. There is not one singular answer, because everything is playing itself out from a frequency. And yes, your thought frequency are contributing to your experience, Master. But if your system is severely broken, there's only so much you can do. So stay as positive as you possibly can. Know yourself and know the truth that there's a breaking point that is, it's already hit, but they haven't disclosed everything for you yet. Hold tight, hold self-love, project outward, everybody, for this abundance to come forth to assist everybody to be able to focus on themselves with more clarity and more awareness and more calmness for the process.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Just a reminder, this is the episode number 126. It's the Ask Julius Show. And now it's the time in which, if you take your cell phone and point your camera to this trauma subtle question mark QR code, we're going to talk about what is a special, a two-part workshop with Casey and Julius. So let me actually share the screen here. 1 second, please. Here it is. This is the landing page that, when you scan the QR code, it's going to take you to this landing page. And here you can sign up for this incredible workshop, two-part workshop with Casey and Julius. Can trauma be subtle? Look at that. That's a pretty complicated question. Can trauma be subtle? Please, what is exactly the outcome? What can our audience expect as a result of signing up and attending this incredible two-part workshop, Casey?
Everything that Julius puts out is there to support us on our conscious journey. And a lot of the difficulties, Angel, on our conscious journey are our blind spots, our blocks, our obstacles that we can't see coming. We don't even understand that we have. And everything affects our energy. Everybody affects our ability to either expand our energies, raise our frequencies, or keep them trapped in a low calibrated state. And almost everybody understands that trauma can play this huge role. In fact, it's the role that keeps us small, keeps us encapsulated in a fear-based perspective, a victimized perspective. But everybody also seems to have a pretty good idea of what trauma is. which is some kind of really big event, shocking big event that occurs in your life. And some people will say, well, I've not had trauma in my life. And we'll say, haven't you? Really? What if trauma could be subtle and you're not even aware it's there? So we're going to be tackling this massive topic and conversation. Why? So that Julius can help provide for you solutions and ways to get out of your own trap that you have set for yourself. So this is not about causing everybody to be more depressed or downtrodden. This is getting those blind spots coming forward so that you can extract the wisdom from those things and get past that frequency, get past that energetic calibration. It's going to be a great conversation, probably going to be full of all kinds of light bulb moments for everybody. And Joyce is going to talk about the most subtle trauma that every single humanoid embodied being has. Every single one of us has it. And they're going to talk about what that is in this class.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Remember, just take your camera, 'cause, by the way, we always keep the QR code up until the end of the show. So you have the entire show to go and have a look at this landing page for this Can Trauma Be Subtle? Remember, this is a two-part live online workshop on Zoom on November 4th, which is Tuesday, and 5th, which is Wednesday, 2025 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you for the explanation, Casey. And let's continue with the show. Let me see what is the next question. The next question is, one second, please. The next question is from Sparking 3D. What may you tell us about guilt and remorse? Thank you.
Nothing makes us do anything. You asked a question, Master, and therefore we gave you our answer and our explanation for how you hold on to things, how you bind yourself to things, and how things can be carried on through many experiences. Guilt and remorse is a very, very challenging and very, very heavy energy. Very much so. Very much so. Okay. Those two energies can do a couple of different things for you. They can either be the biggest shifter for you if you feel guilt and remorse over something. You have the opportunity then to become accountable for those limiting actions and then make a massive shift in your capacity for compassion and empathy and move through a conscious journey. But if you cannot do that, then guilt and remorse will keep you locked in a shaming action, self-shaming action. When you are constantly in self-shame and you won't take accountability for your actions, you deflect and you will never grow. In fact, it will bury you deeper and deeper and deeper into a low level of consciousness. So you can see the impact of those two emotional components as you are moving through your amnesic state, as trying to remember yourself as source with extremely limiting actions and fear-based responses as you walk through a life cycle as a humanoid embodied being.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next question. My daughter, that comes from Michelle Dimas. My daughter is 34 and has severe autism. Is there any way I can improve her life?
There is. We're telling you that that's a byproduct of that. It's a vaccination injury. And so there are many things that you can help to detoxify. We're telling you it's metals. It's metals and plastics in the brain. And the more you feed that, so here's what becomes interesting about a lot of autistic behavior. So some of the autistic behavior makes the person crave sweets, and crave high preservative foods, okay? So you have what we want to call obviously organic and natural foods. And then you have foods with preservatives in them. And then you have highly processed foods, highly processed and preservative foods. These foods have a high count of sugar and salt in them, makes them highly addicted to the brain. Since an autistic brain already has an overload of metal and plastic in it, it activates an addictive component to crave more of that, just like heroin, and the highly processed foods. And since people who struggle to handle or work with those types of personalities, they usually will cave in to what the autistic child wants or throws a fit about, because it's too hard to be constantly fighting that battle and get them to calm down. But the diet improvement can make a massive, massive difference. So that's what we will tell you is what's going on in the body. So what do you do about that? You make changes, okay? Do you want to make changes? Of course you do. Do you want to improve the health? We would hope that you would. Is it going to be inconvenient? Of course it will be, but the byproduct can be massively beneficial. We're still going to support detoxification, and then we're going to support a massive shift in the diet. You're going to take everything out of that diet that is highly processed, absolute elimination of those things, and then try to go as organic as you possibly can.
Point taken, and thank you, Michelle, for the question. Next question from Turk Thornton. Nice to see you, Turk. Question: I have my home grid locked with crystals. Other day, my windows fogged up and beautiful circular geometric patterns, look at that, appeared all over on the windows. Was this the protection frequency from the crystal?
Oh, absolutely. Prisms. We love the prism effects that the crystals put out. So the crystals are living, they're alive. Anybody, we don't know that everybody's aware of that. Don't want to make an assumption. They're alive and they change. They grow and they change. Okay. You can take anything that we hold on to, we'll start to make new fractals and new aspects after a certain amount of time. So your energy, the energy in the room, and the fact that they are living, they change and they shift. So all of the prismatic energies are constantly moving and changing within crystals. So this is literally a living grid. Living. It's moving, it's shifting, it's changing. Okay. And so it's going to be affected by the lighting, of course, in your home, but also by the environmental conditions. So as your temperature changes, your humidity changes, the energies that come in and out of your house change. The crystals are growing. Anybody who is very in tune with crystals knows that this is true. Some people are very, very intimately aware of their different crystals and how they break and how they fractal and how they come up with all kinds of different personalities. And they know that this is true. And anytime that you have those things set up in a grid, you're going to notice a changing and a shifting in the behavior.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And the next question comes from Greg Nyman. Julius, how can you have accountability without self-judgment?
No, great question. Great question. It's self-reflection is what it is. Okay. So do you have the ability to self-reflect, right? That's where accountability comes in, right? To be able to look at what, quote unquote, you've done, the fallout of it, the way that people are affected, and actually be able to say, it's because of what I did, right? That's accountability, to be able to step up and say, yes, I did this. And then to have remorse over that. Like, it's one thing to be able to say, oh yeah, I absolutely destroyed something and that's just the way it is. That's not going to grow your consciousness. It's an aspect of compassion then. So when accountability comes into play and then you have compassion because you see the effects of your actions and you start to crack open some of the empathy fractal in you so that you feel the damage that you have done. Okay. But not everybody has this ability. There are personality disorders, cluster B personality disorders, that literally prevent the brain from being able to do this. It's a truth. However, having said that, with enough action in this area, and especially if somebody finally starts to feel back the energy, that's technically kind of what karma is about, was to try to get people start to be awakened from their actions that didn't have a care in the world about the harm that they put out. But their cognitive dissonance will prevent them from being able to see that that's basically their karma is from their actions. So it can get very complicated. But those are just cluster B people. If you are of quote unquote normal capabilities and you're growing on your conscious journey and you do have compassion and you do have empathy, these things can increase them, refine them, balance them, to unleash them to more and more and more compassion and more empathy. Then it becomes very, very useful. And accountability can be one of the lead things to self-love. Accountability can be the lead into self-love, because you will actually love the way that you are aware of who you are and how that creates your reality for you. And you will have so much honor and respect in reflection of how that process works. And you will tread and act and think and speak so mindfully, and the actions of that high vibrational frequency will always improve the existence of all that you are.
Amazing. Thank you so much. The next question from Magic Missy. Julius, I did a quantum jump meditation earlier and now I feel exhausted. Is this my body integrating the new energies?
You probably didn't ground yourself properly, Master. We would suggest you get yourself in water. We would suggest you make beautiful little fists, little feet fists, bare feet, fists on the ground, get outside, do it on the lawn, walk around, get in the shower, okay? Drink salt water, a little bit of salt water, okay? And get yourself grounded. You can drum, you can sound bath, you can do crystals, okay? So you probably have not grounded yourself sufficiently.
Excellent. Thank you so much. The next question comes from Sodom03. Is it possible that if you haven't taken the jab, you can be affected by those that have? I find myself,
right.
excuse me, my apologies. I find myself in a bad mood when around those that have the jab.
Yeah. So, technically they're talking about the aspects of shedding, if they're shedding, but you're just talking about energy frequency, Master. You are affected by the energies around you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And people who are of low frequency, lack awareness, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel thick. You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel sticky. You're going to have migraines, backaches, shoulder aches. Mouth, inside your mouth aches, throat aches, okay? Because these people have been stifled and they don't speak their truth. So what you get to learn is boundaries, energetic boundaries for yourself. You can pump up your energy before you're entering into that form of experience. Make sure you clean your energy afterwards and take a break from the energy as often as you can. But this is the life of an empath, okay? When you are on a conscious journey, Master, your number one priority is your energy. Number one priority is your energy, and you will not tolerate any interference on your energy flow, toxicity, pollution, nastiness, low frequency. You'll just get out of it. You'll step away from it. The great thing is a lot of times you'll repel it, and it'll take itself out. And we always love that. Don't we all love it when the trash takes itself out? Oh, yes, we do.
Absolutely. We do. Thank you so much. Next question from Tara Stara 369. Hello, everyone. Julius, what is a good alternative to using a plastic bristle toothbrush and a toothpaste? And is Castile soap best for the skin? Please and thank you.
So you can get a natural fiber toothbrush. You absolutely can. They're wood, they're natural fiber. You can get them. They usually come in multiple packages. They don't last nearly as long as the nylon ones do, and that's perfectly fine. So you can get natural bristle brushes. You should not be using any form of toothpaste with sulfates or fluoride in them. It's a direct access to your brain going right into your gums. So you stay away from fluoride, stay away from sulfates. You can rinse your mouth and brush your teeth with hydrogen peroxide, one of the best things that you can clean your mouth with. Clean the bacterias, clean infection out of them, keep things fresh and clean and whatever. But you should rinse with hydrogen peroxide. But one of the best combinations of what to brush your teeth with are baking soda and hydrogen peroxide. Take your natural brush, dip it in your hydrogen peroxide, roll it in the baking soda, and scrub, 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 scrub. That's what you should be doing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let me go back to our questions. Yes, a question offline right now coming up from Marzina. Hi, Julius. You mentioned that we were subjected to frequency manipulation.
Of course.
What factors decide that some people seem to be affected more than others? Any steps we can take to protect our energy fields and nervous systems from this influence? Thank
Yeah.
you.
So everybody's affected. So the first thing that we want to tell you, Master, is everybody is affected. Everybody. Okay. And crystals can help. Okay, in your home, help to neutralize, the frequencies. We're going to tell you also that grounding is essential. So one of the things that the frequencies do is they put out a lot of negative energy frequencies. And grounding is a way to instill positive energy back into the systems. So you've been overridden with negative frequencies. So forms of grounding practices, grounding sheets, crystal mats, things like that can help. Okay. The aspects of energy frequency interference can also be controlled by you to a certain degree. You can do your research and you can look at the light bulbs in your house and all the electronic devices in your house and how much of them are on and how frequently they're on and for the duration that they're on. Are you wearing those stupid, ridiculous computers on your wrists? Seriously? Just strap them to your brain. Just go ahead and strap them to your brain. Are you wearing ear pods? Just go ahead and just extract brain matter right out of your head. You might as well just siphon it right out of your ears if you're wearing ear pods. Okay? So how much of that energy frequency are you walking around? Are you walking around with your phone in your pocket? Seriously? Are you talking on your phone really close to your head all day long, every day? Are you wearing headphones? So how much of that frequency are making direct contact with you? Direct contact with you. Okay? Hugely affect your energy frequencies. Okay? Your home should not literally be buzzing with electronic devices. It's the truth. We don't care if it's an inconvenience. It's the truth, masters. It's the truth. Okay? One of the biggest issues of all of this is your brain cannot go into recovery mode when you're trying to sleep. You won't hit REM cycle, which resets your nervous system so that you can calmly approach life. You can use your brain and you can stay centered in your experiences. So you should not have the electronic device. Nobody should have a computer in their bedroom. Nobody. If you've got a television in your bedroom, get it out. If you've got a computer in your bedroom, get it out. Everybody should go back to kind of the old-fashioned alarm clocks, right? So things that allow you to sleep well at night. You shouldn't be on the electronic devices if they're preventing you from sleeping a couple hours before you go to bed. Get the grounding sheets out. So that's some of the differences. So for people who are mindful and doing actions to help counter work, all those frequencies, they're going to have a better time and not be, well, as you said, Master, as affected as some people who are just drowning in it. They're drowning in it. Okay. The minute you see somebody with one of those devices that, measures everything, your heart rate, how many steps you took, right? Like you can't figure that out yourself. Okay. That's going to be, you're in overload. You're just in overload. Sorry, we went on a tangent. We love all of you so much. Do things to improve your frequencies and your consciousness.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And the last question of today's show comes from, actually, it's an offline question. We couldn't answer it last week. From Sherilyn Jones. I lead retreats to the gray whales in Mexico. Wonderful. The only place in the world where whales seek out human touch and interaction legally. That's awesome. Anything you'd recommend for my groups to do on these retreats?
If they can get in the water, that's amazing. So we're not sure if that means that, you're in just on a boat, or if you have the opportunity to actually get under the surface of the water, because the sonar that those whales put out hit that water and it gets amplified. So the whales put all of that amazing healing energy, especially for PTSD and trauma, especially for PTSD and trauma. So if there are ways for people to get in the water, that's what we would suggest. We would also make a suggestion to you to take sound bowls on the boats, if you're out on boats, and play the sound bowls back to the whales. We'll guarantee you will have the experience of a lifetime.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And that was the last question of today's show. Let me actually deploy this in wonderful. Okay, so we have two more questions. Stacy, I'm sorry, we'll have to keep those questions for the next show, but obviously, as usual, thank you for being here with us, for cheering for us all the time. I was going to say, let me actually show the big QR code for the Can Trauma Be Subtle. Can trauma be subtle? Please make sure that before the end of the show, you take your cell phone, open your camera, point it here, and it will take you to this Can Trauma Be Subtle 2-part live online workshop on Zoom on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hold on a second. Something happened here. What's going on? There's always some technology happening here. All right. So here we are. Can trauma be subtle? We already discussed this. And be sure to scan it, go to the landing page and sign up. As everybody says in the audience, all those sessions are just out of this world. And people keep on saying, thank you, Julius, Casey, and Angel. Absolutely much love to you all. Michelle says, thank you. We keep also another question from Thornton. And Stacy Savage here also. Love to you all. See you next week at 55K. Thank you for the wonderful show. And Greg Nyman, thank you so much. I think today is the first day that we actually take the time to wait and to show all these incredible, grateful, appreciative comments. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for us to be here all the time and make these things easy for you, which is ask those questions that you always want to know the answers for. Any final comments, Casey?
Nope. Sending so much love and appreciation to everybody. Check out the new website. Make Sue happy. Make my team happy with all the work. Angel, tell everybody your website, please, please, please.
Actually, the other day, I'm going to share with you guys the Wisdom for Kids website. Is wisdomforkids.today. Wisdomforkids.today. By the way, the other day, I had some people reaching out to me and asking for more information about the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, and I shared with them a wonderful infographic that we have that shows really what we do and what is the situation in Latin America. So again, thank you so much, Casey. It's been my pleasure. Julius and your group of entities, thank you so much. We love you guys. It's been an incredible show, and let me bring back the outro video, which is incredible. Our production team is amazing, and they keep on setting and raising the bar higher and higher. Thank you, JC. Thank you, Sue, and everybody else in the team. See you soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye.